telling people to call me Eric. My name is Eric. Yes, that happened. Yes, I'm ashamed to this day. Someone said fan service, and I asked, like the edgy kind? Needless to say, got slandered. Mom messed up giving me directions in the car, and I made fun of her. She returns with, at least I don't watch futar. I had my tutu-roo ringtone go off in a small class once. One of my new co-workers introduces herself and sees my phone wallpaper. Oh, you like anime? My kids love that stuff, and just walks off. Like, Jesus Christ, I can't handle that. Once, while at a party, my friend took my iPod without asking to blast some music in his speakers. My iPod is full of openings and anime OSTs. There's absolutely nothing close to whatever people listen to these days. So imagine everyone's surprise when the fucking Lucky Star intro blasted at full volume. The moment the song started, everyone was weirded out. Some were laughing, but the mood had completely been killed for the rest. Few people knew I was an otaku at the time, and when asked about it, I was able to brush it off as an obscure Avril Lavigne song. I did a presentation on Lelouch about business leadership for my business class. I accidentally unplugged my earphones off my phone in the train, and it was blasting an Idol Master song. I was at a concert with a pretty hot chick and I forgot what wallpaper I had on my phone. Chick was totally interested in me until she saw my phone before putting her number. Immediately I was like, ah, fuck. I was alone in my classroom and I found a football tucked away at the corner. I picked it up and started doing JoJo poses with it. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that lunch break was over. So imagine the teacher's surprise when he came to the classroom followed by my friends to find me in the most ridiculous pose ever. I just stood up and nonchalantly said I was practicing for a play. Don't think anyone believed that. I may or may not have talked about how centaurs are best monster girls to my non-anime watcher friends. Doing an exposition in class with this mega meme pic as the computer wallpaper. Back in 2006 there was this new anime on the block called Death Note. So me, the eccentric teenager, decided to check it out. I was pretty impressed with it at first and really liked the character L. He was basically the coolest autist I had ever seen, and one of my friends had autism, so that totally made the show awesome. I liked how he sorta nonchalantly walked around, and decided to emulate that in high school. After doing that for a month I needed physiotherapy. I bought bandages so I could wrap myself up like they did in Bleach when they were injured. My first week in college, a guy on my floor asked if I had Bleach. I said, sure, do you want all the episodes? Let me grab my hard drive. He says, I know what you're talking about, but I meant the detergent. On this particular day, I had decided to bring a Shogeki no Soma book to school to read in my free time. Some friends of mine, including a girl generally regarded as one of the prettiest girls in the grade, got curious and picked up the book while I was away. They flipped through it and called me back. You could feel the awkwardness in the air as they held up an Ikimi foodgasm scene and asked me why I was reading Japanese porn. I BS my way through it and said it was a gift and that I didn't know what was in it, and they gave me weird looks and dropped the subject. They forgot about it and we stayed friends, but the mortification I felt killed my mood for the rest of the day and made SNS a home-only thing for me. When Beyblades were pretty popular, and when I got one, I tried to train it like they did in the anime by letting it rip at walls and shit. I used to do this because I thought Sasuke was really cool and I would look cool if I copied him. I also started saying him because apparently Sasuke said that too. This was middle school. I tried to impress my first girlfriend by doing attractive anime girl things like singing badly and pretending I didn't notice she was in the room. This was in high school. Clearly, I didn't learn the first time. I used to wear my Naruto headband while working as a cashier at Little Caesars. I had to do a presentation for my Spanish class and I didn't do it. So, I decided to make the entire thing in class while others were going. I needed a picture of my family for the family section, but I had nothing on my laptop at the moment. So brilliant and fucking weeb me decided it was a good idea to put anime characters instead. In hindsight, I wanna kill myself. In 4th grade I was supposed to write an essay about the ocean and marine life, and I guess I spaced and ended up writing it about water type Pokemon instead. My teacher then read it out loud to the class and basically asked me what the hell I was thinking, and everyone laughed at me for it. Totally embarrassing. I still cringe when I think about it. In college I finally sat down to watch the Berserk anime. Of course this covered the Golden Age arc, but I went in mostly blind after hearing that it was a good series. Golden Age arc was pretty low fantasy, a lot of battles, political intrigue etc. Well my roommate walks in during the last fucking episode. I once said moshi moshi on the phone. 10th grade, French class. We all got to pick French names to be used in class. Most people picked the closest approximation to their own name. But no, I had to be different. I thought of naming myself Napoleon. But no. What did I ask people to call me? Oh god. Lelouch. A few weeks later, my teacher asked me why I used the name for French class if the character was from Britannia. I once yelled, "Boosto" multiple times during a PE lesson. I'm so sorry. Greeting my crush/friend with tutu once. When I was 16, I met a boy at a Yu-Gi-Oh card tournament and we really clicked. He lived across the country though, and gave me his Naruto headband to remember him by. To be fair, I've never watched an episode of Naruto. My friends read the manga and told me about it. Anyways, I still wore that headband around my neck every day until we fell out of touch. I now have a school picture that makes me cringe every time I look at it. I was wishing my non-anime friend good luck for her exam which she wasn't feeling too confident about. So I told her to believe in me that believes in her. Naturally she didn't get the reference and laughed a bit. I was cringing internally after I just said that, deeply questioning myself to why I let that slip out. I've called out of work, pretending to be sick, but it was just that I stayed up all night watching an anime instead. Not very cringe I guess, but it's the best I got. I wrote, Madara Uchiha told me, in response to a "How did you arrive to this answer?" question in a mock math test. Suffice to say, my math teacher wasn't happy. Sometimes I let a nanny slip out. At the start of the semester my professor made us introduce ourselves to everyone, and I had no idea what to say, so I just went with, "Hi I'm Alex, I'm a giant weeb." A friend and I did the Hare Hare UK dance for our high school talent show. I had a rough time after using my ninjutsu against the bullies. The time when my eye was twitching frantically, and when my friend asked what's wrong with it, I told her that my Sharingan was coming out. I watched Kill la Kill on my phone in the bus to school early in the morning. Needless to say, even though I used headphones, a lot of people were bothered by it. Happened a week ago in class. Forgot to mute my phone. Then a notification popped up loudly in class of Saber yelling Excalibur. Yeah, that's my notification tone. Shame. I wrote a short paper about intertextuality where I compared the general themes of Kyokai no Kanata and Romeo and Juliet for my honors English class. I got an A on that paper, but it seems super cringeworthy when I look back on it now. Back when I was in middle school and Naruto first aired I became obsessed with the show, especially Sasuke, because I thought he was so cool. Well my obsession snowballed to the point where, whenever I felt like I needed extra effort during a test or a sport I would do a ton of hand signs. With my eyes closed then open my eyes like I suddenly had the Sharingan. Then I would write furiously or sprint at the ball or whatever I was doing. Tons of people asked me what I was doing, but I just said it was a special technique. I always felt really cool. I was writing Pokemon fanfiction, and not the good kind. That kind of shit a 11-year-old would come up with. My language teacher loved that I was voluntarily writing outside of school and encouraged me to write more, which I did, and then showed to my entire class because I was so proud of it. Needless to say, I was mocked for the rest of the year, and when I graduated, I'm sitting in class watching some Food Wars because I did all my work. My teacher didn't care what we did as long as we were quiet, so the room was dead silent. I got to a scene where Soma makes a dish for Arena, and she tastes it. Turns out my headphones were turned so far up that the entire class can hear her moaning. Take a glance up from my phone and see everyone staring at me, judging me and thinking that I'm watching porn in class. All I could manage to say was, "It's not what you think it is." So for music class, we had an assignment to play a YouTube video of one of our favorite songs for the whole class. Being the weeb I am, I played the opening of Angel Beats. Everyone looked at me awkwardly. Before I had decent internet to steal anime, I found this one girl from my small town to exchange DVDs. I cringed so hard when we met. I was 16 and she was like 10. My friend sifted through my binder to read the science project notes I had inside. The same binder where I kept my Yuri drawings. Never again. I sent a girl some fan AMV of Naruto and Sakura, and I told her that's how I feel about her. drew a picture of me and Goku, submitted it to An America magazine. They published it. For my senior prom I attempted to low-key cosplay as Kogami from Psycho Pass. This is the look I was going for. However, my date had an intense dislike for anime, but I needed her to look like Akane to finish off the look. I sorta got it. End result. My date was not happy. Whenever I get mad or irritated at something, I have a tendency to say, Kuso. This one time, I was trying to get into the electrical room. I'm an electrician, but the door was locked, so I shake the door and loudly mumble Kuso Gab, while one of the prettier cleaning girls was walking by. I looked at her, and she averted her eyes. Needless to say I'm mindful of my Kusos now. When the wind is blowing a ton of leaves out of trees, I stand stoically in the middle of it like a goddamn samurai. Gave my English final on how La Louche v Britannia represented the American dream. 92 out of 100. So apparently a fictional, disgraced, basically British prince living in Japan is the American dream. Not sure if it constitutes weeb, but my alarm is the Pillarmen's theme from JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, and I say Wamu as soon as I wake up. A few years ago, I don't know what brain fart this was, but during sexy time I told my girlfriend, I wish you were Saber. Right when I finished this sentence I realized how stupid it is to say something like this to your fucking girlfriend. For the rest of the day I had to obey my king. Up to today she occasionally slips a comment about it. If she makes a mistake she sometimes says I guess that's what you get for not choosing perfect Saber. More in a teasing than an angry way but still. She will never forget. Singing an anime opening aloud because I thought I was alone. My stepdad was behind me. In the army, there was a recent legend of someone shouting I choose you, Pikachu, instead of grenade thrown, as per procedure during the live grenade throw. He was charged. I had a slip up. After being given an especially mundane task at work, I knew would take a long time to complete. The words, "Fuck man, senpai better notice me for this shit," came out of my mouth. I had no idea that I said them at first. I thought it was just my inner monologue going on again. But I exchanged confused/horrified glances with my boss and I just kinda awkwardly disengaged from the conversation to start my work. Was probably the most embarrassing thing I've ever said in my life.